Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Energy Services. Could the Minister please update the House on how the government is supporting flood-affected families and businesses in New South Wales?
Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the member for Penrith for a question. The member for Penrith knows all too well the impact of natural disasters, particularly in her region. I also want to welcome the young student leaders from our area in Bankstown. It's great to see you here. We are being very well behaved today, and also I want to thank you for going into school this coming Saturday to make up all the lessons you're missing out by being here. I'm sure your teachers are going to really appreciate that. Mr. Speaker, given the tragic events of the given the tragic events of the past few weeks, Mr. Speaker, it's hard. It's easy to forget that the deluge that occurred in early April, the amount of rain that we had and the results we have, the rain and the flooding events that the SES dealt with. I can tell you that the SES responded to over 5,000 incidents in that period of time and took over 9,000 calls for help just in a space of a few days. The New South Wales government, I've said myself and Minister Scully, we wanted to set up the RA to make sure that we learnt from mistakes of the past, and this time we got onto it very, very quickly. And within days, 13 emergency natural disaster declarations had been made, Mr. Speaker. And the Reconstruction Authority then continued to work with other councils. We put on another 20, which brought that to a total of 33 local government areas being able to receive assistance straight away. And Mr. Speaker, that sort of assistance is for things such as, example, funding to LGAs for the cost of clean-up and for the restoring of essential public assets. It also is to help people with their immediate needs, including emergency accommodation and any cash that they may require. There's also grants for low-income residents so that they can purchase some new household items, concessional interest rates to support primary producers, as well as support for farmers to be able to move their livestock and also to be able to get grain and other things that they may need through freight. Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue working on this through our support of a 3-month recovery action plan, and that's with the work of the Reconstruction Authority. I've stood up here many times and I've said that given what's happening with climate change, we know that we're going to have more and more severe natural disasters. We're still going through them on a regular basis, and they're frequent, as the Minister has reminded me. We can't stop a natural disaster from occurring. We can work, though, at being a lot better at how we reduce not only the impact, but try and do as much preventative measures as what we possibly can do. And we've both spoken about the state disaster mitigation plan and that. And we know, Mr. Speaker, that we need to deliver support on the ground as soon as we can. Teams from the Reconstruction Authority have been on the ground in the Illawarra, the mighty Illawarra, which almost as mighty as the Dragon St George, the Hawkesbury Nepean area, and the Blue Mountains. Mr. Speaker, we're also being...
Minister, member for Penrith has risen.
Taking away,
I
withdrawn if that's
seek
taken.
an extension of time for further information.
An additional 2 minutes is granted. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're also working to liaise with councils to resolve all of the issues. Mr. Speaker, as well, recovery centres were set up in Windsor, Thurrool, Warrawong, and they were hosting partners such as the Red Cross, mental health support, as well as other local services. I'm also really proud to say that Service New South Wales was also there on hand, front and centre, providing support and helping people assist all the assistance that was there, accessing it. The government also lifted the waste levy in 26 LGAs so that people can then dispose of their waste that was flood affected without any cost to them. Mr. Speaker, I do want to take a special moment. I know that this is a completely shared view by everyone in the House. I want to take a special moment to thank the 10,000 plus volunteers of the SES and all the emergency service workers that helped them in this time and all the other time. And to that end, I want to let the House know that we'll be hosting an event next week in here with the SES as part of WOW Day. We hope that you can be there. Mr. Speaker, the SES play a critical role in this weather event and in others, and they're also there at the moment. Right now, they're on the ground in the Central Coast, in the Illawarra and around Sydney. In the past 24 hours, they've responded to over 100 incidents of flooding, of trees and of damage that's been occurred as a result of the rain. 1,700 incidents since the 30th of April, Mr. Speaker. They have not stopped. And right now, they're also up there in Tuggerah Lakes where they're working with the local community, making sure that the roads that are flood affected are being protected. Mr. Speaker, I need to inform the House that we are coming into more wet weather. We are up to day 9 at the moment of continuous rain. There will be more flooding. There will be more wet weather. Again, I remind people, please do not drive through flooded water. Please follow the instructions of the SES. Please download the Hazards Near Me app. And Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude on this point. This Sunday, the SES volunteers will be out there. There will be women, there will be mothers who are there giving up their time on Mother's Day, and I think that's a really special thing to acknowledge. Thank you to everybody who volunteers with the SES, who supports the SES, and happy Mother's Day to all of those who will be celebrating.
I'm glad we